What's up, sisters? Welcome to the Period Whisperer podcast. I'm Bria. I'm your host. If you're new, I'm so happy you are here. I'm your perimenopause and menopause sister, your holistic trainer, hormone specialist, translator of your female body. I'm a recovering people pleaser and hustle addict turned body whisperer and hormone decoder. And I am here to help you de-stress your body, decode what it is saying, become the CEO of it, and own your own health, energy, and weight loss again. This show is for you, the overwhelmed, overworked, underappreciated step woman who dreams of a body they feel strong, energetic, and sane in. The woman who knows that she shouldn't just wave the white aging flag and believes in a body and life of peace, love, and purpose. But you don't just know how to get there yet. So if you are stuck in your body, your energy, your life, you are in the right spot. Let's lean in and learn what our bodies are saying to us. Hey, sisters. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023 and episode 63 of the Period Whisperer podcast. I am really excited. I'm really excited about this year, and I hope you are too. I know that if you're anything like me, you get excited about new starts, fresh ideas, fresh opportunities. And although I know we can start fresh on anything at any point in time, there really is something special about the newness, right? The new energy, the renewed hope. And that's what I wanted to make this episode about, because I used to be a serial quitter. I would set these goals that really felt so right to me. I'd spend some time, I'd say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this every single day. I'd outline it. And inevitably, I would make it to, I used to only make it till about day 3 or day 4. I did really work on, some commitment stuff and some strategy stuff. And I started to make it more towards week 2 and 3. But inevitably, the excitement around that newness of whatever new strategy or new program or new success path I was on would wear off. And I would start to lose interest, or it would start to become harder. Because if you're anything like me, you know that, there's that real electric energy that comes with doing something new, with the new hope. And when that starts to wear off and we move through what we call the transition curve, something I learned really early on in business is this idea of the transition curve. And it's a very real thing where we come flying into something really excited. They call it uninformed optimism. And, we're just excited. We might have some information, but we're like, it's like whether you're starting a new job or starting a new workout program or starting a new healthy living routine or starting a new relationship, it's always there, right? We don't have the full picture because we haven't fully experienced it yet. So we step on into this uninformed optimism with all the excitement of what could be. And then we hit this peak of challenge, right? All of a sudden that newness wears off and there is a real challenge of learning something more. In a workout routine, it's when it stops being exciting and maybe your body's kind of sore and you get a little bit tired. In a nutrition, new way of eating, it's when, all of a sudden you are emotional or stressful or something and you want to go back to these old habits that were comforts for you in food or alcohol or whatever. In a relationship, it's when some red flag comes up and it gets scary or some conflict and you don't know what to do. In a career, it's when all of a sudden you're like, am I really skilled enough to do this? You get given a task and you're scared or you don't actually know how to do it. This is when we start to slide down the transition curve into this place where, we call it informed pessimism, right? Like, whoa, I'm going to have to do all of this. This is going to have to happen. I don't know that I can handle it. I don't know that I want to give up these old, bad, unhealthy habits. I don't know that I want to grow and deal with these conflicts in my relationship. I don't know that I'm able to handle this workload. And we slide down that transition curve to a point of fight or flight. And it's a critical point in our journey of success where we have to decide, am I going to stay and keep going and keep trying and step up into that growth, right? This is the transition curve of growth for anything, change and growth. Or am I going to give it up and go back to my old ways? And this is where so many people struggle because they think, oh, this is too hard, and off they go. If you stay, something amazing happens. We move back up this beautiful curve towards informed optimism, where now we know, okay, this is hard, but I can do it. This is hard, but I am learning. This is hard, but I am going to make this growth and change because it's really important to me. And the reason, like, those are the people that achieve success. Understanding this, I know for myself, understanding this curve was so critical in me having faith that I can move through letting go of old bad habits, that I can move through in my health and fitness, that I can move through letting go of, my inability to handle conflict or to be such a people pleaser, that I can move through that and know there's something great on the other side. People who become successful in this growth and challenge curve know, like, the transition curve itself is like the transition, right? The change of going from who you were to who you want to be. When I started realizing this curve, you can almost begin to anticipate and that the challenge and know it's coming and be prepared for it and have faith that if you keep going, if you keep growing, if you keep pushing, you will get to the other side. Now, there's not just one transition curve of life. It comes again and again if we're constantly growing as we are. And it's such a powerful thing to understand. And it comes into play so significantly in our bodies as women during this time of our lives, because our bodies are going through a lot. And we know we don't want to feel this way anymore. Perimenopause is that transitional time of us going from, so we're riding this wave whether we want it or not. It's this transitional time of when we go from, someone who's reproductively healthy to someone who no longer is able to reproduce. And our hormones obviously change with that. And it's up to us to understand that it is going to get better as long as we let go of these bad habits. It's also a key time where we see this because it's New Year's. It's a brand new year. And we're all beginning to ride this transition curve, whether we like it or not, of hope, of excitement, of possibility of a brand new year and what it can bring to us. So here we are riding this curve. And what I think is so important, what I want to remind you of, is that we can make this curve easier if we implement some key mindset pieces and understand what's actually happening. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that there's a lot of, strategies around how to live an anti-inflammatory lifestyle to create space for your hormones to be more balanced, right? We do this by cutting back inflammatory foods, by cutting out things like coffee on an empty stomach, by nourishing our body with greens first thing in the morning, or a warm water with lemon, by getting out and just walking. None of these things are big, hard challenges. If you want the strategy around healing your hormones and giving space for them to allow you to then get back to weight release, that is a clear strategy to get there. But it's not that simple. You and I both know this. I have bought and wasted money on so many different workout programs, so many different nutrition plans, supplements, and they only work if they come with the other part of support for your transition curve, which is first the constant drip of permission and awareness of putting yourself first. As women, we very quickly sacrifice ourselves for other people, our partners, our children. We struggle in that self-worth sometimes of that it's even going to happen. So what's the point? Because it feels like a waste of time. But you and I both know that if you feel amazing in your body, that your energy is going to allow you to do more, give more, and be happy. You'll be less snappy and less impatient with your children and feel better about yourself as you fall asleep at night if you feel better from your inside out. So really driving home that permission of like personally given permission from you to prioritize yourself and the need of your health above anyone else in your life. And then the second step is making sure that you have presence in your own body. Part of being a period whisperer is really understanding the whispers that your body gives to you. You know, there's some amazing hormone drugs out there and amazing drugs in general out there that can be helpful. But before we start taking quick fixes, we need to first understand the message that our body is saying to us. When we understand that it's just stressed or tired or hungry for some more nutrition, or that our gut's out of whack, when we start to learn to pay attention to what our body is saying, we recognize when maybe it's just stress we're not dealing with or emotions that we need to move through, and not something we want to so quickly numb out or stuff away as we so often do. So bringing presence into your body is the second key element towards success on this transition curve. Getting really in tune with, okay, how am I really feeling? What is my body really needing? What is she saying to me? And then, of course, we get to prioritize the inflammation in our body, right? We get to look at our 4 key health pillars: our rest, our movement, our nutrition, our pleasure. And when we dig into each one of those things, there's something we can do to help, again, not just reduce the inflammation in our body, but also nourish our body to the next level. This is a key strategy, and so often we get stuck only focusing on this strategy. And that's challenging, because just diving into change without support, without the clarity of why you're there, without the clarity of what your body is really needing, is the reason so many of us fail. Because we know anytime we try to make a change, that transition curve is going to come into play, and it's going to make it hard for us to stick to it. So having permission and presence are those key supportive elements that surround us during the fight or flight part of the transition curve. Finally, we have perspective, which is that last, I kind of look at this like an Oreo cookie, right? Everyone wants to go right to the icing piece. Everyone wants to go right to tell me what to do, right? What should I eat? How should I move? But those are very difficult to maintain long term if you don't have the structure of the cookie around you. So when you add in the permission and the presence on one side, and then perspective of how long it should really take in order for you to recognize results in your body, of how challenging it should feel, of how you should feel, of why it's worth it. So often when we're trying to create and dive into a new strategy of health by eating a certain way or drinking a certain way or moving a certain way, we get bogged down by the normalization of unhealthy things in our life. And we just want to fall into being like everybody else, quote unquote. But if we're really honest with ourselves, if what we want is a body that is optimized, one that is healthy, one that is energized, that's different from the norm. So we need to make that a normalized aspect for us and stop normalizing foods that aren't healthy for us. Stop normalizing drinks that aren't healthy for us. Stop normalizing hustle lifestyles that aren't healthy for us. If what we want is health, then we have to start normalizing those activities and let go of the pull of being like everyone else is around us. That's where our perspective really starts to come in, is this can be great. Yes, it's going to be challenging, but when you go into a transition curve, when you go into a new year and you know that it's going to get hard, but then it's going to get really good, that perspective will help drive you through when you're at the point of fight or flight. Those 3 pieces, permission, presence, and perspective, are the key elements to help you continue and support you through the prioritization of what you want to be doing to heal your body, to release the weight, to have the energy. And this is the time right now, at the beginning of a new year, when you have all that beautiful, excited, hopeful energy of how the year can go, that you can finally make these changes. This is why I create my 2-month exclusive one-on-one coaching program, so that I can help you one-on-one create a strategy and move through that transition curve so that you're not alone, because it is challenging, because we know that on our own, no matter what our goals are, we still have people in our lives and close people to us that are going to want to pull us back into normal, into the way things always were. When you invest in coaching, when you apply for a coaching program and you have someone there with you, you get that perspective of why you're going to stay along the way. This is why I've always invested in coaching. It's why all the most successful people, athletes, business mentors, CEOs have a coach, because they help you stay the path and remind you of what's so beautiful about your results coming when you move through that difficult transition curve. There is always a view at the top of the hill. You just got to get there. And that journey up is hard sometimes, but with the right perspective and the right permission and the right presence of your body, then you get to prioritize the things that are going to get you there faster. So yes, this applies so directly to your hormones. It applies so much to you being able to feel incredible this year and not end this year feeling exactly how you do right now. So if you're someone who's ready to make that change in your life, and you know that you've tried so many times, you've started and stopped like a serial quitter the way I used to be, then this is your universal message coming at you. It is your time to prioritize yourself. And that might look like hiring a coach and having someone help you through that transition curve so that you know to recognize it going forward. I want to invite you to swipe up and apply. It's the last week I'm taking applications for my winter 2-month exclusive one-on-one hormone rebalancing program. We work very closely together. I do only take 6 to 8 women because it's such an exclusive closed container. I can only work with that many people and make sure you get the results that you want. But either way, just remember, as you set goals, first, you are capable of amazing things. Your hormones do not need to be the thing that holds you back. Your mindset is such a key part of this. Before you go diving into taking quick fixes, we have to do the foundational work. And once you've done that foundational work, any fitness program you pick up, any nutrition plan you pick up, any business goal you set, any relationship growth goal you set will start to happen more effortlessly because you have that strong foundation of health, and your hormones can rebalance on their own and the weight will release naturally. Okay, sisters, that's what I have for you. Happy New Year. We'll see you on the next episode. Remember to be more in your life and not just less on a scale.
Thank you so much for joining me on the Period Whisperer podcast. I want to encourage you to reach out to me directly and message me if there are topics or things you're struggling with so we can address those right where you are at. And of course, if you loved this episode, if you learned something, make sure to share it with your friends and please rate and review it wherever you get your podcasts.